Hello and welcome to another episode of the Construction Corner podcast. I'm Dylan, I'm your host. And today, guys, we are going to be talking about AI in construction, some AI tools, some AI tactics, basically what AI is going to do in the construction industry. We're going to cover field, office, design, all of it here today and move forward. So, the reason that the podcast hasn't been out in a couple of weeks is because I've been just neck deep in all this AI stuff and wanted to share with you guys some of the lessons that I've learned after really diving through everything, using it a ton, and really seeing what applications that we can use to improve our workflows, improve our processes, and everything that we do here in construction, really just to make a better product, a better solution, and help everybody along the way. So, one of the things that I want to, I guess, address first and foremost is there's going to be some of these tool solutions that are going to be super easy to implement in your processes, and there's going to be other tools, other AI techniques, other AI stuff that's just going to be a lot harder to implement. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, right? Harder just means fewer people are going to be doing it, and when we get into the hard of it, it's really that you have to do stuff, right? It just doesn't automatically work for you. So, and you're going to have to put a lot of brain power in here. So, this is the thing with AI where the tedious tasks get removed from doing anything. You're going to then have to think more. And for a lot of people, that's really just the hard part is thinking through these processes, thinking through how to use the tool, thinking through what this means, and ultimately augmenting you, your team, everybody with tools like this so you can improve productivity. This is no different than going from pen and paper to AutoCAD, AutoCAD to BIM, where in BIM you don't have to update all your schedules every time you make a change, right? Those things automatically update. So now this is just on a whole different scale. And this is how we have to think about these kind of almost standard deviation steps of progress. And what I mean by that, it's from 1 to 10, 10 to 100, 100 to 1,000, right? Those are the type of steps that we're taking in AI and technology and all the things that we're doing, right? The analogy's always been used like horse and buggy to a vehicle to a plane, all those things. They're true, but it's also that yes, we don't need as many people to transport. We can go faster, faster with less people, right? We don't need as many repair shops because tires hold up now. All those types of things that ultimately kind of stem down the line. So in doing this, it's a lot of the menial tasks, the things that nobody really wants to do, are going to get automated in some way, shape, or form. And so we want to make sure that we're able to think our way out of really think our way into a job, right? We want to be able to think. And so this is where using AI tools, understanding what AI can do for you, how it works is going to be so important to your success as an individual, for your company, basically whatever you're doing. So with construction in particular, AI has to be like a practical tool. This can't get in the way of what we do. This can't impede timelines or schedules. And there's always going to be a complement to the human who has experience and understands what's going on, especially when you get into like renovation work or TIs where field conditions are not going to be optimal. You're going to have to kind of work with the existing conditions that an AI may or may not really understand. And especially at these early phases of AI, it's definitely not going to understand what it means, what it's how to go about that, right? You need that human input to really help you through the whole process of laying out schedule, laying out circumstances, right? It's supposed to be symbiotic between the person and the AI. So with this, we're not looking for like completely fancy solutions, something that's like super mind-boggling and how fancy this thing is or the beautiful pictures it can create for us. But we're looking for practical solutions, right? We want to free up some of our time with a solution that works so that we can go and do other things. So that's really what I'm going to be talking about. Pricing has to be there, and kind of single point solutions almost in what we're talking about. Um, the first one that I want to kind of go over is something that's going to be pretty simple for most anybody to implement, and that would be either speech to text, which then creates the reports. So you could do it in like your voice notes. So if you just open up your notes app on your phone, hit the microphone, and then dictate your notes for the day, all that gets put into text. You then push that to ChatGPT, Grok, whatever AI solution, and put those into it. Tell it to put it into a formal report of the goings on of the day. Then, it'll spit out your basically daily reports of what's going on. So things like that, again, very simple, easy to do. It'll format it. It'll do it grammatically. And then the prompt is, hey, make this a formal daily report. Here's all the things, there you go. So that's a pretty simple way to do it. To do like meeting agendas, here's all the topics that I want in it. Here's the meeting agenda. Um, other creation things of you have a vague idea of what you want to have happen, but don't have a template necessarily for it. And maybe meeting agenda is not the best example since, those are typically already set, but it could be like a schedule of events for a day or a conference or something that you want to put on. It could be, owners meeting, review meetings, all those types of things of how you want those to go. Again, if you haven't done them before or you're looking for some different ideas and how to run these things or presentations, RFPs, RFQs, all that, those responses, again, you probably have done a lot of these things before, but this can be another idea generation for you and how to help you win those projects, right? Reaching out to folks, whatever that might be for you, your team, again, getting different solutions in to just help you and your team do your thing. So like speech to text, formatting, spell check, Grammarly is a great tool. I use that all the time. And some of this, like, I don't know whether I'd consider it AI or just a tool. But Grammarly is great for helping you with spelling and that kind of stuff. It only works on a web browser, so that's a one piece. If you're doing other big formal documents, a tool called Hemingway is a really great writing application to help you simplify your wording, your verbiage, and just ultimately makes you a better writer. It's free if you use it online. And then there's a desktop version. I think it's like $20. So it's pretty inexpensive to help you with your writing abilities. The next one is going through again like text documents. So we think about specs, RFPs, RFQs, pulling out like important things through that. And what I don't want people to do and really have happen is, yes, you can send it through ChatGPT, Grok, any of these tools to help you understand what's in the RFP, what's in the RFQ, but you should also be reading it because you're going to see different things than the AI is going to see that might stand out to you differently than the AI reads and pulls from it. So this isn't to make you be lazy in your thinking, even though that's what this tool is ultimately doing for a lot of people is, you become really lazy in your thought. So you can't interpret things as well. You just hand off all of your thinking to a machine, which ultimately sets you up for failure down the road, ultimately, because you have no thought, right? You're not thinking through anything. You're not using your ability as a human to think critically and really work through problems. So don't do that, but use it as an augment to what you're already doing, right? Coming up with different ideas, picking solutions, those types of things are going to be super helpful for you in being able to move forward, right? And then other things that you've never done before, right? Get it ideas, help it teach you about those things. That's going to be super important for you. So like spec readers, RFPs, RFQs, either in creating those solutions or in being able to respond to them, understand what's in them, those are all going to be very important for you moving forward. So that's a great tool for AI, especially a lot of these text-based things, and especially for lengthy documents. It's going to be something that you're going to be able to pull out pretty quickly. The next one is going to be in really site stuff. So there's some things that are coming out for like security cameras and being able to spot safety hazards on site. And while this is all well and good, and there are some like AI basically detection tools in there, right? It's seen through big models and a lot of video footage, right? What is or what is not a safety hazard. And those are super awesome. Machine vision has been around for a very long time in manufacturing, right? To spot defects within any product that's coming down the manufacturing and assembly line, especially at very high speeds. I've been in some steel plants where they do coil steel. So they're pushing, coil steel at, I don't know, 1,000 feet a second or something insane, super fast, right? Very fast moving steel coils or the flat steel. And with that, there's been machine vision to basically spot any defects in that as it's going down the line. And they do it at very high speeds. Been around for a very long time. But now they're taking that machine vision, putting it into kind of commercial cameras, and then allowing you to spot safety defects, launch notifications. And that's really like the secondary thing. Is now there's like these machine visions and manufacturing used to be and are very expensive to put in because they're super customized to that. They've trained it around what is a defect, what is not a defect, and allow that to perpetuate through the manufacturing process. And because, again, they took people out of the equation, the feedback for everything was much better. They were able to increase and improve basically quality assurance through everything because, again, you can move the lines faster. More product was able to go through, quality went up, and you had people for other things through the process. So this has been in manufacturing for a very long time, in improving all of these processes. So that's one is like more safety stuff around like ladder safety, driving safety, capturing all of these things and allowing you to basically have eyes and ears throughout the site. Now, the flip side of this is going to be in some liability stuff, right? If the site is completely covered by cameras and you have this software installed, what's your liability now? All that's questions for your lawyers, but it's something to think through on the other side of it in safety. But again, it's also best foot forward here, right? And trying to do your best to help keep sites safe, help keep guys out of trouble, basically, and send you notifications for anything that might be happening, so you can go out there and quickly address and remedy whatever problem might be occurring on the job site. Next is going to be in modeling and design. Basically using software tools to help you model, help you design stuff. I mean, that is purely what we do at Cowabunga Studios, is basically modeling and design automation for guys. It's not totally an AI tool at this point, but it is, automation of placement of devices, automatically circuiting stuff, putting risers together, all based on input and criteria that designers put together. So there's going to be more and more tools out there from an AI standpoint, generative design type of thing, in basically giving you massing models for architecture, site layouts, things like that. And really, it's just going to be the iterations that it's going to run through for a computer and then let you pick basically what you want. So some of this, like the term AI, is not necessarily correct. Machine learning, or just automation solutions, right? You tell it to do this and it does it, throughout an entire model. Again, we're basically using a computer to move faster and do the tedious tasks that nobody wants to do is the core of all of this, right? That's what we do at Cowabunga Studios, is we automate the tedious tasks that nobody else wants to do with our software for electrical engineers, right? Putting in receptacles, lights, cameras, card readers, all the things electrical in a model, and doing that very quickly, easily, in a format that's super easy for folks to read, design, and put all of those devices within a model within just a few minutes. So that's at the end of the day what we want to do at with all these tools is automate the solutions, take out the tedious tasks. And we've been doing that at Cowabunga Studios for a while now. The next thing is on, kind of when we look at design tools, office tools, is we want to look at estimating, right? What things can we do in estimating to start to automate, use AI tools in doing this? And honestly, this is going to be a much tougher solution because there's nothing that's really out of the box. You got to teach it. So this is one of those where you've got to start putting data together. That data is really done off of screenshots, recording all of your estimating and putting thousands of hours through an AI model to teach it. And there's really no other way to do this. All these AI models are taught on massive amounts of data. So whether that's sales and doing sales calls, it's off of recorded calls that companies have done. And then they're feeding all of their recorded calls into this thing. So they have tens of thousands of hours of recorded calls that are fed into the machine that say what the best scripts are, the best wording, the best everything. And that's why they're able to do that and ramp it up very quickly, is because they have a massive data set to ultimately run through an AI solution to give you kind of best in class results from a tool. Now, there's some more off the shelf stuff in sales and doing sales calls for guys that are using kind of best practices in general. And that's been, I think, people have seen success in it. I haven't used any of those pieces today, but that's ultimately what folks are seeing, is that type of result for basic kind of sales outreach for folks. But estimating is going to be one of those fields where you're going to need to put in a lot of data to that. And, the simplest thing is going to be screen recording all of your estimating and then running that through a solution and then figuring out how to output that into a format that is usable. This also goes into like your data as a whole, right? So whether that's financial data internally, project financials, what that looks like, especially if you're a general contractor, to be able to pull all of your historical financial information of what things cost per square foot, what things cost per unit, what things cost for, and by unit, I mean like housing unit if you're doing a lot of multifamily or hotels. And then you can pretty easily extrapolate what the cost of the project is going to be, have some site numbers in there as well. And you're able to put a number together for a project that's reasonable, that's ballparkish for any given project, and just help you, your owners, everybody make better decisions through that entire process. But it's having your data structured in such a way that you're able to push it through an AI model, any modeling tool, any dashboard that you're going to build, and then be able to have those conversations with the owners about costing, about your pricing, about proposals. If you're an electrical contractor and you're doing, let's say that you're doing restaurants, well, if you are able to take then the last 10 jobs that you did for restaurants, understand your cost for each of them, understand the team that was on all of them, understand what you ordered, what you used, any waste, then you can put together like a real price for the next restaurant and make that an easy, basically apples to apples comparison. You can talk to any owners, say, hey, this is basically our ballpark price for doing this type of restaurant, XYZ. And we're able to kind of move forward. But then you have historical data, you have numbers to stand on, what it actually cost you, what your profit margins were, anything that was lost on it. You're able to make all those decisions basically for each and every project as you move forward. So it helps you make better decisions around this, but you have to have your data structured in such a way that, hey, this was our cash flow. You could even do it from a cash flow analysis of all the projects that you have. Hey, here's the owners that are good at paying us. Here's the owners that are bad at paying us. Here's the GCs that are good, GCs that are bad. Everything else down the line of who's good to work with, who's not, who pays on time, who doesn't, what projects you do and don't want to take. All that type of information is very good to know. And again, if you don't have it structured, an AI solution, again, Grok, ChatGPT can help you to structure some of that data. But again, having it structured yourself and then putting it through is also going to be beneficial to, again, understand finances, understand project costs, understand project finances, labor utilization on a project, all those types of things and paths that you can basically go down, use AI to help you make better decisions. And this is why, like, some of this is going to be pretty easy and straightforward, right? Using things to help you write reports, write emails, whatever. That's a simple use case for it. For some of this other stuff, estimating for project finances, those are going to be harder tools because you have to record your own data, put it through, figure out how to use it, you know, structure in such a way that's valuable to everybody on the project or valuable to your clients, data structured in such a way that it's usable, it's legible, it's intelligible, all those things to make basically a proven solution to your clients, something that they can use. So some of this is going to just be hard, right? Hard's where you have to work through it. It's not going to be straightforward, but at the end of the day, it'll be worth it when you're able to get through all of these things to ultimately help you make better decisions. So my point in saying all of this and for AI is, look, there are tools out there. Start using, a Grok, GROK. That's based off of X, Twitter. And then you have ChatGPT, which everybody's heard of, right? But start using this tool, start asking it how to use it, start asking it, how can we move forward? Start asking it for marketing ideas, sales ideas, design ideas, start going through this, but don't trust it innately, right? Like, you got to be able to think through these problems. Like, I look up code questions and most of the time the AI is wrong for Google, right? Gemini is not getting it correct. Because it doesn't understand jurisdictional issues. It doesn't understand code versions, right? It might be pulling something from a wrong year, which then gives you a wrong answer, right? You need the current year for that jurisdiction to then go look at that code to then understand, can we do what we're trying to do, or how do I have to design this thing? So again, it's not going to be always right, but it is one of those things that if we can have more understanding, more thought discretion about, is this right? Is this wrong? Can I use this? Can we move forward? How is this going to work? How is this going to affect me? Doing some modeling for like projections on sales, contacts, whatever. Those are a lot of good use cases for AI, but understand that like it has its limitations as well. But a lot of this just comes down to playing with it. What can you expect? What should you expect out of it? And then how can you use it to move forward? So guys, I covered a lot of ground here in AI. I saw some white papers from some folks and they were completely trash. Really gave you nothing on how to use this. So first, go to ChatGPT, Grok, start playing with them, start using them, ask them questions, like have those conversations back and forth with it, tell it to expand upon what it's doing. Tell it, like, if you're looking for marketing and sales, say, hey, you are the best marketing and sales person in the world. We really need to put together an excellent sales letter to help our clients understand what we do. Here are the things that we do. Write this in such a manner that will convince clients that they should work with us over all others. And we need this. This is super important to me, my family, my work, my job, to have this be a successful project, which you get better results from, right? So like, do expand upon this. Don't be like simple or short in your prompts to the AI. Like, be detailed, be thorough. It can take all that information in, distill it, assemble it, give you better answers based on the things that you prompted with. So don't be short in any of those. Like, be thorough, put a lot of information, a lot of context around what you're asking for, and you will end up getting better results. With that, that's going to be this episode of the Construction Corner podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this little thing on AI, and until next time.